How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Respect and Praise Show with your one and only Miguel Mike Medina. And on this episode, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Rupayan Samanta. How's it going, man? Thank you for joining.
Hey, how are you doing? I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, can't complain. So first things first, I noticed that we both are connected because we both attended sports management worldwide, and I saw that you took a class. I believe it was football GMS scouting, right?
Yes.
How was that like?
Yeah, oh, it was a great experience. I mean, I was trying to find out what I wanted to do after college because I went to college on a different degree, and I found an ad on like a YouTube video or like on the side of an article, and then I was like, maybe I mean I've always been passionate about sports. Why not pursue a career in it? And so that was like my introduction into the sports world. Basically, I took a class in October 2020, and then I got my first sports related job in March 2021. The experience in the class was great. I mean, I loved it. I mean, it was amazing to like be taught by people like Mr. Russell Land. Then there's Mr. Mark Dominic, former Tampa Bay Buccaneers GM, and then there was also Mr. John Wooten, former like chairperson, I think, of the it was something that's related to the to Mr. Dan Rooney and stuff, Art Rooney.
Did you get to go to the draft combine in Indianapolis or anything like that? Because you know they always have something different for each sport. So did you get to participate in any of those?
I didn't participate because they would have been too far away from for me to like attend by myself, and it was also going to cost too much.
Okay, all right, all right. So is there any other future courses that you want to take surrounding GMS scouting or that was just something that you just wanted to test it out?
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't know what I was gonna do in the sports world, so like that was just like the way to like dip my feet into the water to see like what the sports world was gonna be like. And even my current job, my first job, like they aren't related to GM and scouting. It was just like p connections that I met from the class that led to something else. Like that's why I'm a sports writer now, because that was my first job, and then I got more sports writing jobs as I kept writing more and more. But as for sports management worldwide, I mean, I want to take the cricket business management course because cricket is my favorite sport. I'd love to, to learn more about it there. I mean, or at least I know it, and I know a lot about it, but I would love to know more about the business side of things and see what it would be like to like be a part of a franchise or a team or something. And in I don't know if I'm gonna go back into GM and scouting. That was like writing scouting reports is super hard. I mean, I learned that the first like the hard way there. I mean, my mentors, my peers, they said that I was doing a good job with each article, each weekly report that we had to give to submit and like get a grade on or like feedback on. But I didn't think I was doing a good job because it was hard. There's a lot of jargon to remember, and I would never have expected that because I felt like, oh, I've watched the sport for 10 years. I should know like the basics. But no, each report has to be so methodical that like you can't write the same like you can't use the same words to describe like a wide receiver or a linebacker. Each separate position has their own terms and jargon to remember, and that side of GM and scouting is too much for me. I mean, I'd have to take more courses to become more of an expert in that first if I want to pursue something in that field.
Yeah, I definitely hear you on that. I took a baseball GM and scouting course
Hmm.
back in 2022, 23. It was around there. Yes, there is a lot that goes into that. But it was a great learning experience.
Yes.
Networking with people there, and it was just phenomenal. That's what I took the most out of that. It was a learning experience.
Yes.
So,
Definitely.
but sports worldwide management, they're great in that regard that they offer so many interesting sports courses, and
Hmm.
yes, it'll cost, but if you're willing to learn and try something different and network is so key.
Oh
in
yeah.
any industry. So, but I'm glad that at least you got that experience and you got a
Mhm.
taste of what goes behind the ins and outs of GM and scouting. But
Yeah.
to start from the beginning, at what age, or I should say, what was that moment, a game or anything like that? What was that moment that you felt like, okay, I could see myself being a sports writer or just working in sports in general?
Working in sports in general, I would say I think it was the 2017 NFL draft when I was just watching it on TV, just to see like what. I mean, also trying to root for my favorite team, the Eagles, and just checking out what where certain college athletes would go in their professional careers and stuff. When they were showing like the back rooms, the war NFL war rooms and stuff, that got me so interested because it's like I would love to be a part of that atmosphere. Like even if I'm not the one making the decisions, just to be a part of that room, just to like see what the conversations are about, just to like be able to hear like the conversation between like the phone call of the player getting drafted by the team. Just all that experience, that was what got me interested in like into sports as a career in general, because I've been passionate about sports. Like I've been watching since I was born. Cricket and soccer were the first two sports that I followed, and that was in like 1997, 98. um and then once I actually, those were the only two sports I like followed for a long time, because I was born in Muscat, Oman, and I didn't really know about any of like the American sports until I moved here in 2007. But yeah, I think like since 2007 I've followed basketball, American football, the ice hockey, because like I knew about hockey, but the only hockey I knew was field hockey at that time. I didn't even know about the ice part, and then I now I'm like a fan of the Flyers and stuff. It's been a great journey, like just like immersing myself in the American culture and American sports and stuff. Uh, and yeah, that's just in general of when I thought that I could get into sports as a career. As a sports writer, I'd say like I still don't I still like can't believe that I'm in here. Like I feel like I'm just here, you know, like I had no expectations of like doing anything in sports, and I still feel like I don't really know. Like I haven't, I don't know if I've actually had that kind of moment where like, oh, I think I can still make it as a writer, because there's still a lot of journey to for me to do. I mean, I don't know if there'll be any accolades or accomplishments or anything, but I there's like so much I have to learn still, and I feel like I'm behind the curve. I need to do a lot more, because I think like uh some like when I like for example when I try to go into job searches, sometimes I'll be told like you don't have a bachelor's in this like required field, like English or journalism or even sports in general. So that's why I'm taking like online classes to try to make that the education side of it up, because now people are saying like, okay, we like your experience, but we still can't like pick you because of, I mean, because that one educational requirement is holding you back. So I feel like I still have a lot more to do to think that I can make it as a sports writer. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I'm just glad to be here. I'm enjoying every step of the way.
Well, I have something to say about that. You're already doing it. You're already doing it, right? Don't let anyone's opinion or perception of saying, oh, you don't have enough experience in this, you don't have that. No, if you're doing it, if you're writing, even if it means like you have your own blog and you're writing every single day about sports, you're already achieving. That's it, you're successful right there. No money can replace that. So, yes, we all want to do more, we want to reach more heights, but what defines success, in my opinion, is that you get to do exactly what's on your goals. So the fact that you're writing and you're sports editing as well, that's the dream right there. That's you're doing it. It's just a matter of just taking it up a notch.
Yes.
But you have the goal right there. Your dream is right there. You're doing it. So look at it that way. But you said you came to the States in 2007. Was it a culture shock? Was it nerve wracking? like what were the emotions like when you came to America and then you started to embrace sports, the sports culture in America?
Oh yeah, it was a huge culture shock because like Oman in Oman things are a lot more strict and like regulated. So it's like I mean I had to wear uniforms for like basically all the time like every step of the way in like from like pre-K to I left when I was still in fifth grade. Yeah, and at that time it was even harder because we like as a family because I'm not Omani, like I'm Indian and born to Indian parents. My parents are Indian citizens. We at that point like when we were still living in like the nine about 1996 to 2007, they didn't have rules to where like non-Omani citizens could be like could go to school there for until like grade 12 or something. So we would have had to move eventually. And I mean like so I mean, I don't know how things would have been like if we stayed until like grade 12 or something. But yeah, it was very strict, very like regulated, very hot too because it's a desert. And I mean, it was the first shock was the weather because I've been in like I lived in a desert for 10 years, and the first place we moved to was Devon, Pennsylvania, and to experience snow for the first time, that was amazing. Snow, rain, that kind of like the wet, the cold climate. And so that was one thing. They were also like by strictness, I mean like I don't want to say like segregation, but it was like the girls would have to sit in one side of the classroom, and then there would be like a couple of benches in the middle that were empty, and then the boys were on one side. And we really weren't allowed to interact as much outside of the classroom, and even inside the classroom there wasn't much interaction. It was a very like studious culture. I mean, I went to an Indian school like because they had like different systems. They had an American school, British school, the typical Omani school, and then Indian schools. So like the all the things that you were taught would be like based on the programs that you'd be taught if you were in like India or the USA or the UK. And it was very hard to be there because like I'll say it was good for my education because I could be like a smart person, but it was a lot of competition because you're like a small fish in a big pond. Everyone was smart because that was all they would care about. Like we couldn't really think about or do any other things. Like if you could do sports, that's good for you. And there wasn't any like problems where like oh we don't want you to go into like sports or you have to be in like a lawyer or engineer or something like that. But it was strict as in like yeah the interaction between genders. uh I've heard like horror stories about where things went wrong, like if a relationship was found or something. So yeah, that was a different time, I guess. But maybe hopefully things are better now for their like I know women are getting a lot more rights nowadays in the Middle East, so that's at least good. um and then like yeah, embracing myself in the American sports culture. I mean, I think I started to learn about fully understand sports around 2010 or something because that's when I got into high school. That's when I started like that's when I was like I guess more accustomed to seeing people my age play sports. And like I would get to talk to my friends about their experiences on whichever sports the teams that they were playing for in high school. And from there I was learning. Then some of the teachers who were coaches would talk to me about stuff about like if you want to join or something, if you just want to hang out and see what we do. um yeah, I mean, uh, it's good. I'll say like compared to like cricket and soccer, which are more global sports, like just to see like how much how like the fan support and everything that goes on in the American sports culture, it's a difference because it's maybe not to like like to the level of like the more global sports. You won't see like the quantity or like the amount of like uh I guess support or cheering or something. And I think like I know that there's banter that goes on in like in cricket and soccer and stuff, but like here it's like almost like a hatred kind of things. Like everyone has their own team, and like you can't support outside of a region or something. Or like I know because I felt that firsthand because I was an Eagles fan, and we eventually after being in Devon, Pennsylvania, we moved to Statesboro, Georgia, which was Atlanta Falcons territory, Atlanta Braves territory. That was the worst part because in the baseball one, Phillies and Braves have a direct rivalry, and my friends would like egg on me so much, like, "Oh, you support the Phillies, you suck right now." So, but th those kind of things I feel like I didn't see as much in like cricket or soccer comparative.
So you are working at Sports Radio America for 2 years now as a sport assistant sports editor.
Yeah.
So to wrap up the interview, um, I'm gonna have a little fun here, and these are short answers you could give me. Name me your top three sports companies that you would like to write for in the future.
That's a good question. I've never really thought about it that way. I mean, ESPN and the Athletic for sure. I don't know if there's a third company. Honestly though, like regardless of what I do, what Sports Radio America has done for my career is like I can't like thank them enough, you know. So that's why I feel like I would want to at least stay some part of Sports Radio America like throughout my entire career. Whether it's a writer, editor, or something, I just don't think I can like fully leave them or transition away from them because that they gave me the start. I'm not here on this interview without them because like that's how I started making a name for myself. That's where my articles started to fully shine and I started getting more like viewership and connections and stuff, and people wanted to like get to know me more.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, when you find that kind of um, support
Yes.
from a company, you want to stay loyal to them. So I definitely hear you on that. I definitely can relate to that with one or two of the companies that I've written for. So I definitely hear you on that. But last but not least, where can we follow you and your work?
I don't really have any social media, so it's just at LinkedIn. My name is Rupayan Ab Samanta, and with abs in parentheses because that's my nickname. And that's like I can send a link to that, I guess.
Any websites of the articles that you've written, especially for Sports Radio America?
Oh yeah, I have my author page at Sports Radio America, and I have a couple of other companies where like they have their. I used to work for them, and they have like some of my content on there. But yeah, it's just a like the website and then slash my name.
All right, so I'll put that information right here in the description.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for being part of the Respect and Pray show. Best of luck to you on your career and keep going, man.
thank you for having me on, sir. I really appreciate it.